Hello students, we will see the next lecture, that is continuing with the lecture 9 of the medicinal chemistry, topic parasympathomimetic agent, in that indirect acting agent. Before this session we seen the parasympathomimetic agents with the direct acting category. Now today we will see the indirect acting category. So before going to start, we should know regarding the introduction parameters of the parasympathomimetic agents. The last session also we completed the same introduction. Once again I will revise. So these parasympathomimetic agents are the compound which mimics the action of acetylcholine and causes the nerve stimulation or stimulate the nervous system. So this acetylcholine is also the major neurotransmitters. These are further divided into the two categories, direct acting, indirect acting. The direct acting drugs or the direct acting parasympathomimetics category we covered in the last session with the last lecture. In this what happens, the drugs binds to the nicotine or muscarinic receptors and causes the excitation of the cholinergic system. In the indirect acting parasympathomimetics category, the drugs inhibit the hydrolysis of ACH, so that's why the concentration or the life of the acetylcholine where increases. So as I told, the concentration of ACH at the receptor sites increases, so it leads to produce the excitation of the cholinergic system, and that's why these agents are also called as a anticholinesterase. Now moving towards the next slide, which is also I repeated in the last session, that is the classification of parasympathomimetic agent or cholinergic drugs. We completed the direct acting drug in detail. Now today's session regarding the indirect acting as well as the cholinesterase reactivator. So let us start with these important indirect acting parasympathomimetic agents. So see the parasympathomimetic agents with the indirect acting agent. Introduction, as I told, these also called as anticholinesterase inhibitors because acetylcholine is the main neurotransmitter in this category. So that's why the name is given acetylcholinesterase inhibitor. These acetylcholinesterase inhibitors inhibits the acetylcholinesterase enzyme and causes the ACH or acetylcholine in the venicity and cholinergic nerve terminals. So that's why the concentration where increases or the higher concentration of the acetylcholine leads to the increase in the biological response. As the concentration of ACH or neurotransmitter increases, so the biological output we will get. These agents are divided into the reversible inhibitors, irreversible inhibitors. As I shown the image of the classification, reversible and irreversible. So see here as I shown reversible acting and irreversible acting. So we will cover these drug one by one. So in case of the reversible inhibitors, as the name indicates, these drug binds reversibly to the choline subsite. These agents form an ester-like carbonates, phosphates and covalent binding to the active site of the enzyme. For example, physostigmine and neostigmine. So these drug will cover in the next slide with the reversible inhibitor category. So here the binding is the reversible type. Irreversible inhibitors, here the drugs binds irreversibly by the covalent binding to the active site of the enzymes. This drug produces irreversible inactivation of the cholinesterase. So there will be the irreversible inactivation, not the reversible. And this category includes the various organophosphorus compounds, as the reversible category includes carbonate, phosphate, etc. In the irreversible category, it includes organophosphorus compounds. Example, parathione and malathione. So you should differentiate both irreversible and reversible inhibitors from this parasympathomimetic category. Moving toward the next slide, as I told, we will see one by one the various drugs belonging to this indirect acting agent. In that, the first is a reversible inhibitors. Reversible inhibitors, the physostigmine salicylate. Structure as I shown here. Moving towards its mechanism of action, it is a reversible tertiary amine inhibitors. It is a reversible tertiary amine inhibitor of the cholinesterase. The cholinesterase activity is similar to the neostigmine. When we will see the mechanism action of neostigmine, we come to know the mechanism of action of physostigmine also. So this physostigmine and neostigmine having the same mechanism of action, and both belongs to the irreversible indirect acting agent of the parasympathomimetic category. Uses, it is used as a myotics causing the contraction of the pupils of the eyes. Again, it is used apparently for the reversible effects which are caused by the anticholinergic and antidepressant. So it play the two important role, or having the two important role. Next, that is the neostigmine bromide. Regarding the neostigmine bromide, here I have shown the synthesis. So I will zoom it. First, aminobenzene. See, as I shown, the aminobenzene treated with the potassium hydroxide. Aminobenzene treated with the potassium hydroxide. So the formation of dimethyl amino carbonyl chloride. Dimethyl amino carbonyl chloride with the elimination of HCl. Further, this dimethyl amino carbonyl chloride treated with the intermediate, and in the presence of methyl bromide, we will obtain the neostigmine bromide. So the final formulation of neostigmine bromide. Now moving towards the mechanism of action, as I told, the neostigmine having the same mechanism of action as that of the physostigmine. So see here properly. So in case of this neostigmine, it is an indirectly acting drug. As I told, it is indirectly stimulates both the muscarinic and nicotinic receptors. As I shown here, the indirect acting drug which stimulates the both nicotinic and the muscarinic receptors. Next, it binds the anionic and steric site of the cholinesterase. So it binds with the anionic and steric sites of the cholinesterase and block the activity of ACH. As I shown here, it will block its action and show its mechanism of action by binding with the anionic and steric site of the cholinesterase. So this is the same mechanism of action for both neostigmine and physostigmine. Uses, it is used in the treatment of myasthenia gravis. What is this myasthenia gravis? It is nothing but the weakness of muscles. Again, next, it is used in the treatment of paralytic lines. So this paralytic lines means what? That is the movement of the food through your intestine and temporarily paralyzed, means the process or the passage of food through the GI tract going to be stopped or paralyzed. That is the paralytic ions. Moving toward the next drug, pyridostigmine. So as I shown the structure of pyridostigmine, moving towards its mechanism of action, it works by blocking the action of acetylcholinesterase and therefore increases the level of acetylcholine. So as shown here above, it also blocks the action of acetylcholinesterase. So that's why the concentration of acetylcholine increases. Uses: it is also used in case of the myasthenia gravis, as we seen earlier, which is a weakness of muscles disorder. It is used in the prophylaxis of nerve gas poisoning. Nerve gas poisoning, important one. For detecting the nerve gas poisoning, pyridostigmine were used, and it is used in the management of post-operative urinary. That is also the important one. So these are the three uses of pyridostigmine. Now moving towards the next slide. The drugs belonging to the indirect acting category, which are the reversible. We seen the reversible from the indirect category. Now we will see the irreversible. So see, regarding the irreversible, first drug from this category, that is the parathion. The category is the drug belonging to the indirect acting agent, but these are the irreversible. Parathion. So see the structure of the parathion as I shown here. Mechanism of action. As I told, these are the indirectly acting irreversible parasympathomimetic agents. So they indirectly act on the acetylcholinesterase enzyme. Uses: used as insecticides in the agricultural, and these are often applied to the spraying to the cotton, rice and fruit trees. Being an insecticide in the nature, so it is used to spray on the cotton, rice and fruit tree to avoid the insects. So it is also the important use. Next category from the irreversible inhibitor, malathion. So as I shown the structure here, malathion, its mechanism of action, it inhibits same as we see in the earlier parathion, that it inhibits the acetylcholinesterase activity by binding with the serine residue on the cholinesterase enzyme, and that's why it irreversibly deactivates the acetylcholinesterase enzyme. Uses: it is used in the treatment of head lice and the body lice. Again, used as an insecticide, used in the treatment of scabies. Scabies, what is meant by the scabies? These are the small red spots which are found to be on the skin, and a person want to be rub it or a scratch it. That is the scabies, small red spots. So for the scabies, malathion is preferred. So this is also the very important. Now moving toward the next slide, that is the last, the parasympathomimetic agents with the cholinesterase reactivator. So see here, as I will show here. So this is the last category which we will discuss, that is the cholinesterase reactivator. In this session we seen irreversible acting, reversible acting, reversible direct acting drug, irreversible indirect acting drug, and the last one, that is the cholinesterase reactivator. So let us see the cholinesterase reactivator. So see here, these are the drugs which causes the reverse of the inactivation of the cholinesterase, because the name itself indicates cholinesterase reactivator, means once again we have to activate it. So it causes the reverse of the inactivation of cholinesterase, means here the inactive cholinesterase becomes making the active. So reverse means from inactive state to the active one. Reverse of the inactivation of the cholinesterase means we are making here the active cholinesterase. Means these agents which cause the reactivation of cholinesterase, means here once again we will make the cholinesterase in an active form. Example, paralidoxime chloride. So see here, paralidoxime chloride structure as I shown, mechanism of action, it reactivates, see the word important, reactivate the acetylcholinesterase enzyme. How? By binding to the anionic site of the enzyme. So by binding on the anionic site, it will reactivate the acetylcholinesterase enzyme and it displaces the phosphate from the serine residue. So it displaces or it shifts the position of the phosphate from the serine residue. So in this way this paralidoxime chloride work. Moving towards its uses, as I shown here, it mainly used in the treatment of poisoning by the organophosphorus compounds. Means when the poisoning were created or happens by the organophosphorus compounds, this paralidoxime chloride is preferred. Here also I have mentioned what is meant by the organophosphorus compounds. Exactly, these are the oxygen atoms which bound directly to the phosphorus atom and can be substituted by the sulfur or nitrogen atom. These compounds which have the binding to the oxygen and directly to the phosphorus atom, and this can be substituted either by the sulfur or nitrogen atom, that we will call organophosphorus compound. And the last one, that it is used in the treatment of overdoses caused by the acetylcholinesterase drug. For example, neostigmine. When there will be the overdose of the neostigmine in our body, we should prefer this paralidoxime chloride to avoid the overdose caused by the anticholinesterase drug. For example, neostigmine. So this is all about the today's session, that is the parasympathomimetic agents. In that we covered the indirect acting agent, reversible indirect acting agents, irreversible indirect acting agents, and the cholinesterase reactivator. So with this we stop this session and we will start the next one in the next video. Thank you everyone.